Hey! Good
What's
morning,
up?
everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
How is everybody doing today?
Great.
Excellent, excellent. Love it.
We want to welcome everybody to another live broadcast. Your mystics in the morning, having our musings, our morning conversation. Uh, how are you doing, Shaka?
I'm doing good. I'm doing well. Slept well last night. Um, didn't have any dreams or anything, but definitely downloaded some information, so I feel good.
Excellent, excellent. And folks, we want to say a very special welcome here to Baba Barry McCullough, who is joining us on our show this morning. And Baba, welcome.
It's great to be here.
Awesome. We're glad to have you here. So let's start off with a couple of things. I think there's a little bit of feedback. Maybe somebody turn their mic down just a tad. Okay, because I think we all have headsets on. Okay. Anyhow, um, we want to welcome everybody, and this is going to be a really, really special show. And we've got Barry on. I'm going to call him Baba because that's what I always call him. This is an elder. He has been doing divinations using astrology for 50 years, people. A brother who has been, just an amazing 50 years. So I am so interested in hearing your story and in hearing what the history has been like for you. That's just amazing to me. Before we get started, we want to just announce a few changes. Shaka, let's tell them some format changes that are going to be happening for at least a brief period of time.
Mhm.
I want to have you go ahead and just kind of take us through that, if you would.
Sure. Well, I guess in preparation for the readings that are to come, we are, Subira and I, in the process of downloading information, assimilating information, and also going through a purification. So the shows will be somewhat more sporadic. However, we will be getting the shows out. They just won't be at, what is it, 9 o'clock every day, Monday through Friday.
Hmm.
So we'll make up the shows. It's just that because we're going to put a little bit more emphasis on the preparation, on the bathing, etc., all the different things that we need to be doing. Um, we're probably going to have to put those shows. They're probably not going to be live at the same time that we normally do them. So just to give everyone a heads up, the shows and the information will be there. We will have wonderful guests such as
Hmm.
Baba McCullough, and just keep in touch. Keep bear with us.
Yeah, yeah. And the beautiful thing is what that means is that the readings, for those that contact us for readings, uh, are going to be so much deeper. The level of preparation that we are experiencing, the insights and things that are coming, it just means the readings that you're going to get, the insights that you're going to have, uh, things that may be blocking you or things that you may want to manifest and etc. Our vision is going to be that much more clearer.
Ab-
So thank you so much for hanging in with us as we prepare to bring you the very best of ourselves as diviners. All right. So on that note, I want to hop right over to you, Baba. Wow. If you would, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Um, I guess you can start with right now, maybe what's going on with you now, and then kind of take us back in history, your history, how you actually found divination and got on this path.
Okay. Well, as you said, and accurately, I have been doing astrological charts for 50 years. I'm actually 60 years old. I don't know if that's too much information. I,
No.
s- I grew up in a family where my parents came from the South. My mother from West Virginia, and my father from North Carolina. And out of those traditions, people were very much connected to the earth, and in particular, in my family, connected to growing all kinds of different foods. So in the house that I grew up in, my parents always had a garden. I mean, tomatoes, corn, beans, just about everything you could think of. Um, they raised in their garden, and as I grew a little bit older, I observed that they always used an almanac for planting to plant these things at the optimum time. Um, and as I delved further into that almanac, I saw that there was a breakdown of all the astrological
Mm.
signs. And so I guess I was around 8 or 9 years old, because those almanacs are written on, I guess, about a ninth or 10th grade, maybe seventh grade level. I started reading it and learning about the signs, and that was like a springboard to doing further research and gathering more information about the astrological signs and astrology. And I started doing charts. By the time I graduated from high school, I was doing charts for people, and it is something that in the Yoruba tradition, which I'm also a part of, it's, I believe, my ashe. It's where I have an ability, a particular ability. One thing I have been able to discover in doing charts is that everybody born on this earth today has a genius in some way. Everybody is a genius in some way.
Mm.
Everybody has the ability to be in the right place at the right time, or conversely, the wrong place at the wrong time. Everybody has great good luck in store in their charts. Everybody has periods of challenge and conflict and learning. Um, all of this I've learned as a result of becoming involved with, or actually undertaking and maintaining my parents' love of the earth and all the things that were related to it.
Wow, that is beautiful. That's beautiful. Wow.
Thank you.
Shak, I want to give you the opportunity to ask any questions you have before I jump in.
Well, well, it's interesting because we kind of have a similar background. I have my folks were coal miners
Mm.
from they went from Southern Virginia, North Carolina into West Virginia.
Mhm.
So it's a similar lineage, and they also
Absolutely.
kept a garden and canned apples and did all those things as well.
Mhm.
My question to you would be, because this is something that a lot of people run into nowadays. Um, how at the age of 10 back then, how was astrology looked at, by your family or others in terms of its scientific value, or was it more of a dancing with the devil type of thing, um, uh, like it would be thought of today, I think, in people's
Well, I think that, and I may be biased, I think that astrology has seen ups and downs, but I think today it's on much more of a rebound than
Mhm.
in the past. Thinking back about my own experiences, I was just a young person learning. I was reading the almanac, learning the moon signs, and when to plant plants that yielded below the ground, such as potatoes, so forth, or carrots, so forth and so on, as opposed to when to plant uh, plants that yielded above the ground. So for me, it was just something that totally absorbed me. It was something that was around me. That my parents used the almanac, and it's just something that I took up and continued on with,
Okay,
Mm.
cool.
and extrapolated from and expanded.
Mm.
That was my question. Like, how did you go from uh, using the almanac in the way that your parents did, which was a device that was made it easier for them to sustain you, to feed you as their child, and your brothers and sisters, um, to using it as a tool that you could actually see when is a good time for us as human beings to plant things and harvest things in the soil of our life. So
Hmm.
when did that extrapolation happen for you?
Well, I think as I went into high school, um, I, you take, well, at that time you had to choose a certain track, and I was in the academic track, be prepared to go to college. So you take a certain range of courses, and one thing, I was also a university and college professor for many years. I'm retired now. Uh, One of the things that I learned in all of that is that when you want to learn about something, you have to find something in that body of knowledge that is a passion for you. And so having the passion for attempting to understand astrology and the signs and the planets fueled my curiosity and drove me to gather more and more information about astrology, and in particular applying it to people's lives, doing astrological charts. I found some books where, in the old days, you had to actually do the mathematical calculations by hand. And
Mm,
so you had to look at the longitude, the latitude of the event or birth. You have to have the exact time, AM or PM, and longitude, the time, date, and place. And if you have that, then you're able to construct a chart. And there's always, as with everything in the rational world, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end to an astrological chart. That beginning is the rising signs, what's on the horizon. We're here talking early in the morning here. Well, it's fairly early for some people. It's about 9 o'clock at the time of this taping. And at the at different times of the days, you have certain effects that are certain planetary placements. Like at around this time in the morning, the sun is on the horizon. We all know the sun rises around noon or so. It's directly overhead.
hmm
At sunset, it's towards the western horizon, and all of those placements can be found in an astrological chart depending on the time that a person is born. So we not only look at the sun where it is, but we also look at all of the other planets. And in order to do that, to figure out where they are in the different signs, there are 12 signs, we use what's called an ephemeris. And I will show you that eventually. It's a book of numbers. And it
Okay.
just tells the degree of each sign wherein a planet or the sun or moon is found, and based on the geometrical relationship between those bodies, like is the sun square Saturn, or is the sun trine or conjunct Jupiter, we are able to make predictions. But now this is all based on thousands of years of observation.
hmm
Um, Going back in history, the Egyptians, probably the cradle of human civilization, the Egyptians, the Nubians, uh, gathered information and observations based on a challenge that they experienced in their environment. That challenge was the yearly flooding of the Nile River. And over thousands of years, because that culture had many different phases over thousands of years, they gathered the information. They were able to predict when the flooding would occur. And being able to predict when the flooding would occur enabled them to develop their agricultural aspects of their civilization to the point where they had surpluses. And with those surpluses, they were able to do all kinds of wonderful things in society, have huge building programs, and um, develop a very early writing system with the hieroglyphics. Just all kinds of wonderful things, language, mathematics, chemistry, all of the uh, academic areas, the basic academic areas that we know of today,
hmm
had their foundation in Egyptian civilization.
Okay.
Okay, so based on the observations and many thousands of years of observations, and to bring it back to today, when I do a chart, it just reveals information that has been gathered and compounded and found to be true over thousands of years.
Okay. That's great. You know, Shaka, I know you probably he gave us a lot. You gave us a lot, Baba.
Hmm.
I wow.
TMI.
No, 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 no. The more information, the merrier. See, for me, let me tell you what's going on inside my head. And Shaka, I'd love to hear what's going on in yours. But
Hmm.
what I love about this show as it is developing is the demysticism around ancient African spiritual practices, and the fact that these practices are based in science,
Yes,
the scientific method,
absolutely.
reason,
Mhm.
and they developed out of a reason and out of relationship with nature. uh,
Yes,
to be
absolutely.
able to for the forward advancement, for the forward movement of the planet, of particular civilizations, and the fact that uh, these sciences, these disciplines are developed over millions, thousands, and actually millions of years. And how much time and patience it took for our people to sit and watch the sky. It's mind blowing. So for me, I'm loving the demystification of all the woo 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 that you get a lot of times when you're dealing with Hollywood and the African spiritual practices. As you know, we're having you and other guests lined up to come in and actually help us demystify all this. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So the practicality of the practice of it all. So Shaka, how about you? What's going on in your mind right now?
Well, a couple of things. Number one, I think, this is something that continues to pop up. Um, Observation, focus, attention. And
Mm-hmm.
so I guess my first question would be, um, how has this made you more observant, or how, there's one thing where you're doing the chart and you're paying attention to the details of the chart and you're doing all those things, but over the years, how has it made you even more observant when you walk away from I want to call it a drafting table, but you walk away from the table where you do your astrology, and then you're out in the real world and you're able to see the world differently, as compared with other people, or you're able to make decisions differently. That's my first question. How has that affected that? And then number two, yes, a demystification, but wow, when you think about how deep this science goes,
Mm.
he mentioned, he mentioned a lot of things in what he said, but at the same time, Barry talked about, uh, he actually alluded to some things that are really mystical.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
everything is born. A flower, a flower can be born under the sign of Mars or whatever, and then during the day you've got Mars times and Jupiter times. So there's a certain essence that kind of changes. There's always change going on, and the scientists will understand what character, or what is actually governing whatever. Doesn't really matter what it is. What is actually governing whatever it is at whatever moment, based upon these particular powers that are surrounding us.
Mhm.
So I guess the observation. I'm just curious, because you're a professor. I mean, how did this impact your life and your ability? How did it make you sharper and more observant?
Well, it went back to our ancestors in Egypt, the cradle of civilization.
Hmm.
Um, I was blessed to see that so much of what we call bodies of knowledge and information today are based on observation and recording the observations that are made, and
Hmm.
so it has made me my whole immersion into astrology has made me more observant of my life and the things that I encounter. Um, it has made me more what's the word? One of the big educational movements during the time that I was actually a professor was critical thinking and helping students to develop critical thinking skills. And so coming into that era in American education where there was a strong push to help students develop critical thinking skills, the background that I had in and knowledge of the whole bodies of information that came about through observation, it enabled me to convey to them the fact that you don't just accept whatever is presented to you, that you have to find something in that information that, because one of the big things that we had to deal with was, oh, the students are so bored, and especially as time has gone on, they have shorter attention spans because they're dealing with the internet and TV and radio and all those kinds of things. Well, those challenges to me were similar to the challenges that our ancestors had when the Nile flooded. Whenever there is a problem that thinking human beings are presented with, we begin to try to come up with ideas in terms of how to solve it. So the experience that I had in both as learning about astrology and its foundation as an observational science and recording those observations, I was able to apply as a teacher, as a professor of English for many years in the colleges and universities around the Washington, D.C. area. The second part of your question, it's the subject of astrology is so massive that it will take many meetings or times such as this of sharing. But what I wanted to start with was what you mentioned, and based on what I had mentioned earlier, is that everything has a starting point. And when I know Subira has a method of divination that is fascinating to me, that is based on West African traditions, as astrology is based on African traditions. Even though there are some who would try to place it outside of Africa, as we know with many things. But the oldest evidence that I've been able to find is that that astrology is an African tradition. I am continuing to learn and continuing to grow, and I'm also have been initiated into the Yerba religion myself. My Yoruba name is Ofundi Omotielagua. And the interesting thing is that the Yoruba tradition, even though it's a West African religion, is directly based on Egyptian civilization, what we call Kemet. The vocabulary of the Yoruba language has 75% foundation in Egyptian languages. So it follows that when Egypt was supreme for many thousands of years, but nothing is forever.
Mm-hmm.
In astrological terms, we think of Egypt because it was so lasting. It even has huge, enormous monuments today that have stood the test of time. We think of Egypt, astrologers think of Egypt and Rome as Taurian civilizations. They've stood the test of time. They have left many testaments to their magnificent achievements. And so much so that the body of information, even when those civilizations came to an end, and they haven't ended, but when changes came in from the outside and those civilizations dispersed across Africa, the and the information was dispersed across Africa, especially towards the west of Africa. But the body of information has been changed, even though there have been slight changes to the names of the deities. And that's one thing I want to preface quite quickly, that with the Yerba religion, there's only one God. We call God Olodumare. And so the idea that there is one God but many quote unquote angels, we call them Orisha, is consistent with what was found and shared in the Egyptian culture. But back to astrology, and astrology does play a significant role in the Yoruba tradition. Astrology and celestial observation plays a huge role in the Dogon tradition in West Africa, where certain stars have been in that tradition identified long before others in other cultures were able to find that. Certain mathematical calculations, all sorts of things developed. So I see the Yoruba tradition and the Egyptian traditions as directly related. As I said, 75% of the vocabulary, the words in the Yoruba tradition are drawn directly from the Egyptian language and traditions. And so there's a continuity. And the great thing about it is that with that continuity, we who are the the children of those who were taken from West Africa and really all over Africa, but largely in the United States and the Western Hemisphere, most of our ancestors came from West Africa, have a huge patrimony. That's one of those big words. That means that there is something from the ancestors for us that we need to be more diligent about exploring. And it's not just one monolithic thing. It is something that I'm in the Yoruba tradition and very much involved with astrology. But Subira, you are studying now and making really significant progress with, I believe it's the Dagbani.
Dagomba.
Dagomba. The Yoruba are in southern Nigeria. The Dagomba are in, I believe you said, northern Ghana and Burkina Faso.
Yes. Awesome.
Yep.
Wow. There's a lot here. A lot that we have two viewers. I want to take a moment really quickly and say hello to our viewers that are just so thank you for joining us. We told you guys this show is just going to get better and better. We're going to have awesome guests that join us, and this is, I mean, we could just unpack with Baba Berry for, I mean, we could sit here all week and unpack with him alone. Mm-hmm. So you guys keep tuning in. Please share the links that we put out, and let people know this show is just going to expand, and we're going to have folks from all over the world that come in and share their indigenous knowledge with us on the show. Other mystics who want to talk to us in the morning. Shaka, any words from you as we're coming up on a few more minutes left in the show, and wow.
No, I think it was a wonderful show. I got a lot out of it. I want to thank Baba Berry for coming on. And we'll have to have you back in the near future to have another discussion. So I enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, this was good.
Great, yeah, absolutely. Love being here. Thank you so much.
Cool. Well, folks, let's do a roll call so that if anyone is interested in having a very detailed, take it from me, I have had a reading from Baba, extremely detailed. The man is so knowledgeable. Baba, please tell them where they can contact you and the best ways to reach you.
Well, as we speak, Subira, you and I are developing some platforms, but if anyone who would feel that they need to get in touch with me immediately could simply call me. My number is 301-412-6573, and we could take it from there.
Awesome.
For the time being, you are bringing me into the internet age, and I appreciate that.
Ashe, Ashe. It's my honor to serve you. Shaka.
Yes, ma'am. Um, yes. I'm looking for, I believe, 5 people. I have 3, but I want to do 8 now. I think eight's my number.
Mm,
I'm looking for 5 additional people, brave souls who would like to have a live reading on this platform, which will be Google Hangouts. That will be in the coming weeks, as we said before. We're going through a transitional stage of purification. There's some medicine, there's some bathing, so there's some things that we have to do to prepare for this, for the level up, as we say. So I'm looking for 5 people. If you're interested, my email is just below my name, alefsheen6 at gmail.com. So feel free to send me a message there. And if you're also interested in being friends on Facebook, send me a message there too, so that I know that you're coming. Because I get a lot of folks who are trying to friend me on Facebook, but I'm not exactly sure who they are. And I'd like to get to know many of you better. So that's how you'll find me. How about you, Subira?
Okay. So, uh, first thing is visit me right there. Wait a minute. There we go.
Boom.
Subira Divines.
That's
Subira
it.
Divines. That is the website that you can visit me at. You can leave a little message there in the bottom. There's a space for that. Also, if I accept Facebook friends, Subira Falome, that's where you can find me on Facebook on my personal page. And then I have a group called Sacred Warrior Indigenous Divination. Uh, you can find me there as well. So lots and lots and lots of good stuff happening.
Mm.
Lots of ways of intersections where we can find each other and further the conversation, and so we can serve you in whatever way that that best suits what your needs are. So I guess we've come to the end of our show. It's been an awesome, awesome, awesome time. Here you go. I want to play with this a little bit.
Okay. Boom. Okay.
Oh, I want to play with a little something different. I've been having a good time. Guys, we got some good shows lined up for you. Again, we're just going to ask that you be patient with us while we prepare for our level up to bring you the very best of who we are as diviners. So on that note, we're going to go ahead and close the show. And, if you want to, especially if you want to catch the links, come to that Sacred Warrior Indigenous Divination page, and the links are there all the time.
Mhm.
And Shaka, your page is upcoming.
Yes.
I'll be dropping links in there, but all that information is to come. All right, folks, have a beautiful day. Go out and roar in your life. Don't walk through it. Don't crawl through it. Roar through your life, and have a beautiful day.
All right. Peace.
All right.
Peace, people. Peace, everybody.
Peace. Alafia.
I love you.